Perfection is killing your channel. Every over-edited cut, every reshoot, every script that you've never actually posted is costing you your growth. It's costing you momentum and the audience that should already know your name. Meanwhile, these raw, unpolished creators are building real connections fast, not because they're better, just because they know how to show up. And you're stuck overthinking. Now, if that's hit a nerve, this video will change the way you look at YouTube forever. Just writing it has certainly done it for me. Now, I've been on YouTube for about 2 years. I built an agency, spoke on stages, coached solopreneurs across the globe, blah. But why is that important? Well, here's what I've learned the hard way. It's not the gear, it's not the editing, and it's not the perfect thumbnail. Trust me, mine are not perfect. But it is your wisdom, it is your stories, it is your realness. That's what gets through the noise. That's what keeps people watching. And the creators who win, they learn to stop obsessing over polish and just start pressing record. And they also hang out in the Heartbrand Creator Circle, and there's a link around the description here if you want to have a look. So let me ask you this. What if the fastest way to growth wasn't making better videos, but making more honest ones? What if the secret wasn't perfection, but just momentum, and then some consistency, showing up as a human, not as a highlight reel? See, when I first tried this realness back in Vlogtober, that was October last year, kind of a play on words, I challenged myself. 30 videos in 30 days. But did I make it? Did I make 30? Let me know in the comments what you think. I actually made it to 26. And yeah, I crashed and I burned out, all because I was still over editing. Because I thought that's what YouTubers do. I thought that's what perfection looked like. And I was chasing the wrong dream. But I also grew and I met new people. I actually made unexpected sales, and I proved to myself that clarity doesn't come from thinking. It literally comes from doing. That's what the experiment taught me. Authenticity isn't a strategy anymore. It's survival, my friends. So when Baruz in the Heartbrand Blueprint challenged me to do it all over again, apart from the shivers, I said yes, because like him and so many other of my clients in the blueprint, they said this to me: Stephen, that's how we found you. Real, raw output. But this time, I'm going to strip it all back. No edits, no filters, just straight wisdom from me to you, like I'm doing right now. And I'm inviting you to come along with me, to experience the 30 videos in 30 days and rediscover what it feels like to create without pressure. No perfection, just the reps. So let's take a look behind the curtain so you can see to what to expect and how it all molds together. Last week's session, Bruce said, Stephen, I found you when you did Vlogtober, which was 30 videos through October. They were quite highly edited in many places. And doing it that way was not something I would recommend to anybody. Because if you're starting YouTube and you want to, find flow and rhythm, doing 30 polished, edited videos in 30 days is a real challenge. I will admit, and I've not made a video on that, so maybe one of these videos in the 30 will be that. But I did 26. Crashed and burned, didn't do the challenge because it was really hard. It was really, really hard. But I think 26 videos, what's that, 6 a week? I think 6 a week isn't too bad. So I'm not going to upset, beat myself up about it. But what we've got is, Bruce said, and it's really interesting, Stephen, that's how I found you. Ah, okay. I found you by seeing those videos and they were just always there. I was like, this is interesting. And then Michael came on and said, Stephen, that's how I found you. And bear in mind, it was October, and then we launched the program in November, or started selling the program in November, and then we went live in December. So I was like, okay, how can we do this then? If this is a great way to spike sales, because the videos didn't do amazingly well, they hit somewhere in the region of 1, 2, 3,000. I think some of them are now at 5,000, but they are 9 months on. So I was like, okay, how can we do this in a different way? What I've been seeing on YouTube is that there is a real drive in unfiltered, unedited, raw, in the moment content. And to the point where I've watched some people's videos and I'm scratching my head thinking, wow, is that all you're doing? And it's not saying that to criticize them. I'm just saying, okay, so even I am overthinking some things, but I know that I do that. Who was it I spoke to the other day, and they are a creative overthink. Oh, it was Sherry. She put it beautifully. And us creatives, we get in our head and we think too much and we overthink it. And next thing you know, that thing doesn't happen because we're still thinking about doing it. So this, for me, is designed in a way that you could sit, I could sit here, I could answer 30 questions, one at a time, in a platform like Riverside, and then just go through hook, mindset, story, teach, action, step. Have a kind of very simple, generic-y looking thumbnail where we don't have to, because obviously if we're going to make a video a day, we're going to have to come up with a title, we're going to have to come up with a thumbnail, and then everything else, to be fair, could be done with AI. With what's in Riverside right now, and if you haven't gone in and looked at the updates, it is crazy good. And I was showing Baruj yesterday, you can go in, you shoot your video, and then once you've shot your video, you press the edit button, and then on the right hand side is literally you can tweak it with AI, so you can take out the fluff, take out some pauses, you can improve the audio so it sounds like you're on a radio station. And then the great thing is you can, even if you've got a script that you've got pinned on a piece of paper in front of you, you could flick a little button and then it brings your eyes to level up on camera. That for me is a game changer. So if you don't want a script, you just want a few bullet points, and you're going to maybe just look over to the side or whiteboard like I do, then it's great. The great thing is though, once you've done those bits, there's a little box in the bottom right hand corner, and you get to turn it into multiple pieces of social media content, which is nuts. So I clicked on one and it just said, turn this into a movie trailer. And it took my 10-minute video and turned it into a 2-minute movie trailer and picked out these perfect bits. And I was just like, I was completely blown away. On another note, I'm like, oh my, if we plug that into my social media agency, my guys don't have to do any work anymore. They've just got to flick buttons and check stuff, which is not great for a creative. However, it could speed things up in my agency. So if it can speed things up in my agency, it can speed everything up for you guys. The challenge being is, though, if we all start getting this kind of shiny object syndrome, we see other AIs and other things popping up, then we could go off on a bit of a tangent. But I think if you're comfortable with sitting here and starting now, because I'm starting now, okay, I've recorded 3 videos already, so that I can have them ready and loaded and scheduled. If you sat here and started now, literally today, and made one video, hook, mindset, story, teach, action, step, and then another thing as well, Riverside will even make your thumbnail based on some text that you've said within it. I mean, I'm not a fan of when they put the text in, but I am a fan of the pictures when it's pulling a really nice still and it's pulling some weird and obscure faces. I mean, I've got one that looks like a Carry On film. It's like, ooh, but they're fun and they're different. So I'm taking that, putting it into Canva and expanding that, rather than me having to sit here and take photographs or pull from, go and have another photo shoot or anything like that. I'm just like, let's pull that. And what I've done is I've done the Stephen Bartlett thumbnail, and I've taken, let me see if I can show another different place. It's not going to let me because it's on a different thing. Yeah, it's not. Sorry, it's just my YouTube channel's on a different Google. But it's simply, what have we got? It's text on the left-hand side still, me picture of me on the right-hand side, but it's more of a statement, or it's a question, or it's a quote. Well, the great thing is, when you get your show notes from Riverside, you press the button, it gives you 3 or 4 title ideas. You might not want to use it for the title, but you could certainly use that and adapt it for your thumbnail. Because I'm all about making this process easy, or easier. I'm not saying jumping in front of the camera and just going for it is going to be easy, but it is a way of maybe getting some eyeballs and having a sprint on your YouTube channel, especially if there's a few people that are procrastinating. Because we all do that, don't we? We start, we stop, we start, we stop. You know, my biggest mistake was end of January this year. It was a mistake for YouTube. It wasn't a mistake for the business. I needed to focus on cohort 2. Very, very important people in cohort, well, all of you. But I needed to focus on cohort 2. So therefore, I had to reduce my activity on YouTube. So I went to once a month. I wish I hadn't. I wish I'd gone raw. And I wish I'd used some other kind of tactics, if you will, to make those videos happen. But it is what it is, so they say.
What do you think affected you by doing that, going once a month? How did it affect you?
Yeah, do you know what? Really good question. And the answer to that is something that I learned, or not something I learned, but something that was a realization to me in the last few weeks, is the audience that are watching me now are not the audience that were watching me 9 months ago or a year ago. And even the data shows that. I'm getting at the moment 64% new viewers. Because the analytics setup has changed within YouTube. What you'll see now is it'll say new viewers, occasional viewers, and like long-standing viewers, or existing. And it used to say new views and returning views, and we wanted to get more returning views. But I'm looking at the moment, and the shift is that YouTube's starting to show my content to people again. What happened was, because I went to once a month, I believe that I wasn't showing up enough, and therefore YouTube had to learn about me again, and then the people who were following me had to rediscover me. And I believe that's what it is. So that's why I do teach a cadence of 1 a week. If you can do more, epic. I think this 30-day challenge is going to be a video for me in a few weeks' time where I can say the thumbnail will probably be no excuses. Because if you can sit here and answer one question with clarity and you know your stuff, then actually just sitting in your office every day and just firing up the camera and making one video with a format shouldn't be an issue. You're not going to have the B-roll, the music, the bells and whistles necessarily, but I don't think you need that. And let me explain why. If you can consider the hook, the mindset, the story, the teach, the action step, and if you become the bells and whistles, if you can become the B-roll as well, then actually you don't need all this fancy editing. So for example, when there's a hook in my current videos, you'll see me, I'm starting here. So I'm here and I become the pattern disrupt. I become the thing that they focus on to move rather than something popping in. I speak with my hands. So I bring my hands in for pattern disrupts. If I want to emphasize something, I bring my hands in again. And I keep looking in this corner because I'm in this corner and so are you guys at the moment. I've got this weird, just white screen. So if you can become a little bit more animated. So when I go for a whiteboard, I never have the whiteboard ready. I always lean around and grab the whiteboard and bring it in, and then I prep myself here. So right now, the whiteboard's here. I'd grab it, I'd bring it up, I'd get it in frame, and all this time, as I'm moving, I'm acting as a pattern disrupt. So the person's got to focus and move around with me, and then we'll go. And then I'll get the board rubber out, and I won't say intentionally, but naturally it will look a bit messy, because when I get going, I'm going at hyperspeed, and I'm like, I can't even understand what it means, but I did say it. So then in the edit, I might make a graphic. So here's what I challenge you to do today. Write down 3 of the top questions that people always ask you. Pick one, press record, and just answer it. No scripts, no edits, no overthinking, just your voice, your story, and your truth. Because that's what creates connection and pulls people towards you. Now, if you want my support to stay consistent and not quit by day 3, join me in the Hot Brand Creator Circle. There'll be a link around the description. It's where we help creators like you stop hiding and start leading. And you now need to watch this video because YouTube knows your viewing habits and it says you should watch this thing next. Take care. Much love. See you after day 3.